very senior academician here. So let me introduce him to you. Professor Dr. Davie Singh. Professor Davie Singh is recognized as one of the top academic leaders in India and abroad. He is former Vice Chancellor of Flame University, Pune, and former Director of IIM Lucknow for more than 10 years, and is a well-known professor of international finance and management. He holds a PhD in international finance from IIM Ahmedabad. He has also served as the Director of Management Development Institute, MDI as we call it, Gurgaon, and was a visiting professor at the McGill University, Canada for 5 years. He has been a Ford Foundation and UNDP Fellow. He has been a visiting faculty at the International Center for Public Enterprises, Slovenia, ESCP Europe, Paris, SKK Graduate School of Business, Seoul, and Kelly School of Business, Indiana. He is an alumnus fellow of the Institute of World Affairs, Connecticut. He has also been on several policy-level committees of the Government of India, like All India Council for Technical Education. He has also been a mentor and founder-director of IIM Rohtak and IIM Kashipur, and was a member of the UPSC committee constituted for designing CSAT. So that's just a bit from the illustrious career and the education portfolio that he has held for a long time now. I join all of you in welcoming him and requesting him to take this forward.
Good morning. I say good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Great. Thanks, Kakuli, for that generous introduction. Let me first welcome you all. I'm sure you're already overwhelmed by the warm and great welcome that you have received at this fast emerging a well-reputed university, the IIM University. I add my bit of welcome to you all. I'm going to talk about how you can best use, or how can you make the best of your stay over the next 3 or 4 years, depending on what program you're joining at IIM. Let me caution you that what you get out of these next 3 or 4 years will purely or solely depend on what you want to get out of it. I'm sure the faculty and the university as such will do its best. The faculty will do their best to give you the best possible education, give you the best possible courses. But what you make out of that, how you use your stay, and how you use your learning in class and outside, and how you bond together and learn from each other, all of that will depend solely on you. So it is that perspective that I am going to build my talk, that take charge, because now you are transitioning from school to college or university. You will find that life is going to change in more than one way. It's going to change in terms of how you're going to learn and what you're going to learn. It's going to change in terms of, because all of you have now turned adults. Not that you didn't listen to your parents before, but I think it's time in your life where you will think that you will make more and more decisions for yourself. You will, of course, talk to your parents, but at the end of the day, I think as you grow older, you take charge of your life, and slowly you take a grip of what you're doing, what you want to do, and how you want to do it. So it is that perspective. So this transition is going to be exciting but challenging at the same time, because suddenly you'll find that you have wings of freedom when you are in college. You don't have a principal who's roaming around in school with a stick, or some strict teachers who will all the time tell you don't talk, go and sit in the class, and all of that. Here, there are broader rules of the game, yet finally it's your call, what you want to do and how you want to do it. So if you look at, I compliment you because all of you have made a decision, an informed decision, and you have chosen programs and courses which, let me say on the outset, are different in more than one way from what, if you had gone to a traditional, established, relatively older university, they have their own strengths, so I'm not going to criticize any of that, but they also are in a state of, if I may use, where they look at things, well, we have been doing this for so long, so why we need to change? And there's a little bit of rigidity and, if I may use the word, some inertia. And these new age universities like ILM, I think the guiding principle is that the onus of learning and making decisions is shifted to the learner, and therefore inherent in the system is the flexibility and also the choices that you can make, that today if you don't like a particular course or a particular subject, and if you are no more interested in pursuing that, I think the institutions like ILM give you a bigger flexibility, a bigger canvas, and look at education somewhat differently. And it is on this theme that I am going to build. So if you look at purpose of education, I'm sure many people have talked many things to you, but to me, education is about shaping the individual by doing what we do in higher education institutions, where we focus. There are 4 components of that. One is knowing, that we all know that knowledge is important and knowledge has to be acquired and delivered in a structured fashion. So one is the cognitive side of the program, and that is what you will learn in class by way of your courses. And how this knowledge needs to be imparted, it will change from the way that it was imparted in your school. So if you look at it from that perspective, in universities like ILM, where we believe that you need to, the guiding principle is flexibility, the guiding principle is student interest, then the idea is that when we design the curriculum, design courses, we look at, and it's an important aspect, the cognitive development of each one of you. The cognitive development means what each one of you want to learn. So some of you might decide I'll do psychology, some of you might decide I will do economics, or you have already decided, you may change. Somebody had come and joined, but some of you have come and joined the design program, some are part of the BTech program, some will do economics. So you have come with that understanding already, but what I want to highlight is that imagine, and some of you have done economics before, or some of you, most of you might have done mathematics, some of you might have done physics, some of you love those subjects, and some of you said, why am I supposed to learn this? I don't enjoy it, I hate it. So, a lot of us get put off by subjects or disciplines like maths. So we say we'll do something else. Maths is not for me, physics is not for me. I think partly it is because how we were taught these subjects. If we didn't have a great teacher of maths, we got put off very early in our lives. To me, mathematics is a language. It is a language to express certain concepts or certain principles much more succinctly and easily than it can be explained in words or in a narrative in a language like English. So if you go to the first law of Newton, physics has been expressed by simple mathematical formulae. If you go into their derivation and the first proof or the second proof, that's a different story altogether. But if you look at Newton's first law, an object will not move on its own, will come to a stop unless the force is applied. Right? Force is equal to mass times the A is the acceleration that you apply. Now this is a very simple principle that something, if you push something, it will stop because there is a friction on the ground or some force, external forces are stopping it. So unless, if you want to make it move again, you have to apply force. Similarly, if you look at Einstein's laws, Einstein's first law is energy is equal to mass into the velocity, or the m E is equal to mc square. Fundamental principles, linear equations, fundamental principles expressed very simply. You go deeper into it, but if somebody can explain these concepts to you very succinctly and then brings in the maths and small equations, then maths suddenly becomes more interesting. So maths is one language where physics cannot be expressed in any other way than simple and complex mathematical formula. Similarly, if you have learned economics, some of you liked it and some of you hated it. Is that right? Again, it depends on how economics is taught. Economics is about individuals making small decisions, but all those decisions have some economic implications. I'm buying something, I'm selling something, I'm investing somewhere, or I'm saving my money. All of this has economic implications, and all of this has implications with it. All of this has relationship with the human behavior. Some of us like to spend more. Some of us would like to buy expensive things even we don't have money. Some of us say, I don't want to borrow. My parents are not going to give me so much money, so I need to manage within the resources that I have. And some of you make decisions. You say, okay, I'm going to postpone my purchases and I'm going to start buying these things when I start earning on my own. So each one of you is different because there is a behavioral part of it which is never brought in to the equation. So there is this human behavior, there is a psychology behind it, and economics is made complex. It is taught through those curves and graphs and those equations, and you often say, what do I do with this? So if you want to learn economics is something that has to be, you need to see that it makes sense. Everything I do has an economic implication. Every decision which involves resources that I make has economics behind it. Similarly, some of you might have done psychology in your school. The way we look at psychology is, because all of this you did because you wanted to score the highest marks. Everybody wanted 99 or 100 if you could. And teacher told you, give you a concept, you memorize the concept, you reproduce in the exam, and you got your 100 marks. But did you go a little deeper into why am I learning what I am learning? Because how can you learn psychology unless you understand the context? Each individual is different. We know each individual is different. No two human faces are same. Two siblings are different. in terms of their behavior, in terms of their priorities, in the way they learn, the way they take decisions. We know that everybody in this world was born uniquely. But what is behind that? There is a physiological, biological part of it, but there are a lot of other factors. So people in a particular region react or behave in a particular way with the other region because you need to go a little deeper and see what has been happening in that part of the world. Alright? Was it a conflict zone? Was there some social traditions which shape the behavior or shape the character of an individual? So unless you start looking at these relationships across disciplines, I think you will not be able to appreciate learning in some of these disciplines. So first thing you need to understand when you come to a school like ILM, that everything that you will learn will look beyond the discipline. It will look at the intersections. It will look at the interrelationships. You will be questioned, and in turn you will be questioning the teachers who will be teaching you. It's not only why, how, what, and when, it's all of it together. You need to question why a phenomenon happens the way it happens. What is behind it? So please remember, when you come to do psychology here, you will learn psychology, but along psychology you will learn other things also, so that you can appreciate psychology better. Similarly, if you want to do economics, you need to look at economics, because economics is not something that stands alone. At the same time, it's a mother science. Like I talked about physics and maths, economics is a mother science, psychology is a mother science. A lot of other disciplines borrow from that. The fact that other disciplines borrow from some of these disciplines, you can see that there is something where, there is an interrelationship, and these things are not standalone. And anything you learn cannot be learned in silos. So please understand what you learn, how you learn. A lot of it will depend on what you are looking for. In these 3 years, you want a degree in psychology, or you want a degree which is in psychology plus. Similarly, you want a degree in economics, or you want a degree in economics plus, so that you can appreciate economics better. And tomorrow, if you think that you don't want to do economics anymore, you can do something else. Right? So first part is knowing and understanding depending on how you learn, and most of the learning will happen where it will be questioning, discussions. It will not be content and information. It will be more, looking at small problems, small issues, looking at why this thing happened in a particular context and not somewhere else, and trying to understand what is the larger picture. Like Professor Akoli talked about larger picture. The larger picture you have to look at the discipline domain it interfaces with other disciplines as well. So the education will be multidisciplinary. You will have to look at the intersections of your disciplines, and also you will have to start looking at the content that is delivered to you, or the questions that you raise. Here you will develop your ability to critically question something and start thinking critically. So that's point number 1. What you learn, how you learn, and the curriculum, the pedagogy, all of that will be tuned to make you a more aware, rounded learner who can look at disciplines and link it with other disciplines and have a broad-based understanding of issues, at the same time get a little deeper as far as that discipline is concerned. So you can go deeper into psychology, but you need to understand a bit of sociology, you need to understand some of the other areas. Second point is First is knowing, because you need to acquire knowledge for you to build on that knowledge. All right? One for career, you want to take up a job. The other is to go further and study and get into a master's program, or you've done enough, you have enough bandwidth, and if you suddenly want to switch and want to do something else tomorrow, this gives the foundation for you. Because in North America, that is the philosophy. When you do a 4-year program, it is exploratory. So please remember, it will be exploration, it will be some amount of experimenting, and of course, you will go deeper into the area that you want to go. Second point is doing. You need to develop certain skill set while you are here. All of you have entered this program based on your strength of marks, strength, your curricular and co-curricular achievements. Some of you may have participated in certain events, at national or state level, and as confident individuals. But life is about, we have a lot of intelligent people in the world, and intelligence is nobody's monopoly. And talent resides in every corner of the world. It's just a matter of some people get opportunity, more opportunity than the others. And therefore, when I talk about the skill part of it, we want you to, when you graduate at the end of 3 years, we want you to graduate as confident individuals who have a broad-based understanding of issues, looking at issues beyond the discipline that you have pursued, but individuals who can communicate effectively and all of that. But have you ever sat down and wrote one para on your own to express yourself? And I think that is a skill that you need to develop. If you already have, wonderful. But if you haven't had, you please use this opportunity in these 3 years that you need to develop your skill. Because a lot of us can talk. A lot of us can often talk nonsense. But when it comes to putting something across succinctly, precisely, to the point, because in life, you're not going to get a lot of time to express yourself, because people have no time to listen to you. And you grow, you are at a profession, you will have limited time to express yourself. And you should use the least possible time to say what you need to say, because you don't want to test the other person and his or her patience being in front of you. So writing, ability to debate issues logically, look at issues in a wider context, develop different perspectives and appreciate contradictory perspectives. Listen to others. The ability to accept the other's point of view, even if it is totally contradictory to your point of view. I think these are the skills will be most sought and valued in the years to come. Already, because listening is more important than speaking. Can you put a cogent argument and take it to the logical end? Can you use the available data and the learning in ILM, in your discipline, all the theories or the concept that you might have used, and present an argument which becomes virtually irrefutable? I think these are the skills you need to develop. All of this cannot be taught in the class, but I think you need to be aware that if you want to succeed in life, you will need these skills. You will need these skills to relate to others. be able to work with other people, be able to communicate effectively, not be too verbose. And I think these are able to debate issues. So when we talk about liberal arts programs, and often they talk about three things. It's the grammar. It's basically grammar means it's not the correct grammar in the typical in the British the English sense. The grammar means that you have command of the language. You know what you're saying. The logic and the rhetoric. What it means is that you should be able to develop the ability to debate, the ability to speak in front of the people without getting flustered, and still be succinct and direct and be able to make your point. So developing these skills is important. It is said to communicate, to relate, to write, to debate, and all of that will be important, and through various assignments, various presentations, various group activities, various activities outside the class, your activities in your hostel where you live, and the other things that you do 24 hours. I'm sure all of this you will develop as you go along, as long as you are conscious. So coming to point number 3, being. It is said it's about shaping human lives. Education is about shaping human lives, shaping, people say, character, shaping the person. I think you might be the most intelligent person in the world. You might top all the exams. You might also land up with, the let's say your dream job whenever you are in the job market. But in life, what will take you far is not only your intelligence and the hard work, because basic native intelligence, the fact that you are here, the fact that you would have done this program successfully 3 years down the line, you will do this program successfully. So we grant it to you. You have the intelligence, except minor differences here and there. I'm sure all of you have the capability to work hard. Then what is it that some people succeed in life and some go miserable? And obviously the answer is that there's something beyond these two things that we all talk about. It's more about you, who you are. How do you look at success? How do you look at every situation? How ethical you are when you make a call or take a call? What is your value disposition? What do you value most? Is success for you career and getting a top position in career and earning money, or is success something beyond that? Or it is because you want to reach out to as many people and make an impact in their lives. Family and friends, we all do that. So there's nothing special about it. Sometimes you have everything and yet you find you're lonely, yet you find you're uneasy, yet you find you're not feeling very happy inside. What is it at that stage you're craving or looking for? Think about it. Some of you already, some of you have let's say, a lot of Facebook friends, get enough money from parents to spend, have the smartest, phone or the iPhone. You have good friends, and yet, when you sit alone, some of you, sometimes you find there's something missing in already. Start discovering yourself. Start looking at yourself and see who you are. If you don't do it today, it will be little difficult for you to start. Be conscious of who you are. What do you value the most? What do you value the most? I can imagine that your age in life, it will be a little difficult, but start looking at things in a broader sense and start looking at things that, what next? You do this program, 3 years, you get state A grades, you do well, you get picked up by some of the top companies that you're looking for. Your imagination has run till that or something beyond. So basically in the end, it's about you. It's about your values. It's about what you care for. It's about, do you have the capacity to stand up to something that you firmly believe in? Can you say that no matter what, I will not do something when it comes to, I think, which all of you know, something which is not right, something which is unethical, and something that I don't feel comfortable with. Start looking at yourself right now. Because at the end of the day, your success will depend how ethical you are. I'll give you a small story. Hindustan Levers once was looking at 2 candidates for the top job of the chairman of HLL. And this was told to me by Prakash Tandon, a great P.L. Tandon, who was chairman of Hindustan Lever, whom we all admired. He is no more. He says, Devi, we are looking at 2 candidates. One of them was to get the job. So we did everything that we could, and one guy was superior to the other. We all thought that he or she will be the right person at the end of the day, or it's better suited to take up the slot or take up the job. And then and guess what? In the end, we figured out that when he was a district salesperson, Hindustan Lever is a company which sends all its management trainees to rural areas and small towns, and that's where you look at, stocking and, go to small dealers and do everything because that's why I say it's the best marketing company. If you work with them for 3-4 years, you can land up anywhere when it comes to a marketing job. Because the grind is tough. He says, doing one of those things, this guy submitted a travel bill, TA they call it, where he kind of overcharged for local transport by 200 rupees. This was noticed at that time, but it was ignored. But somewhere it was kept on the record that, look, this should not have been the charge. This guy has somehow overcharged. You know what was the consequence of that? That person didn't make it to be the chairman of Hindustan Lever. Just for little indiscretion when he was a young person, 22 years old, in a district, in a rural area, semi-rural area. May not have done it intentionally, but ended up charging 200 rupees extra. Lost the job at chairman because we couldn't tolerate it. So anything unethical, anything, because given the technology, I'm sure you will know more about me than I know about myself. You know why? Because we live in a totally what I call the naked world. You can find about an individual through Google and all those sources. Everything is known about everybody today. So please be aware. Being ethical and committing yourselves to some fundamental values and committing yourselves to an ethical behavior, I think will go a long way. So being is very important, and I think through programs like this, when you work together, when you make small decisions that no matter what I will not cheat, no matter what I will not take credit for the work I haven't done in a grove, no matter what I will not tell a lie because I had a stomach ache, so that I can get the attendance or I can get a medical certificate, even if it means that I might lose some grade on that. If you decide those small things and start practicing them right now, they'll go a long way. You will remember me 20, 30 years down the line that this is what has helped me more than my knowledge, the hard work, and the performance in job. Because at the end of the day, these things make you a winner. And the fourth thing is being together. I think it's all about citizenship. It's about citizenship behavior. It's about being responsible. It's about caring for others. I may say that all of you belong to a, let's say, segment of society who have this opportunity to pursue higher education in a university like I am. Imagine how many others everywhere in the country will never have this opportunity to ever go to college. So you are already in that group of individuals who are better endowed as far as opportunities are concerned, the resources are concerned. And therefore it puts even more responsibility and onus on you that as a citizen of this country that you take responsibility. Little things that we are trying to do. We know that we have issues of environment, we have issues of water, we have issues of bad air, we have issues of filth, issues of health and hygiene. And if some of you are aware, the United Nations has set what you call the Sustainable Development Goals. And all of those goals are about eliminating poverty, literacy, hygiene, health, water, pollution, all of that. And I think as young people, you need to somehow imbibe some of that concern and use this program of 3 years for you to really develop that empathy, develop some of the, develop ideas collectively and start implementing and start getting involved with communities, start involving yourself with various, aspects which are good for all of us. It could be any of those things, including the campus sustainability. I think citizenship, there's some schools offer programs on responsible management. It's all about being responsible to first to yourself, to society, and to planet Earth. Because we live in a world where resources are limited, and we live in a world where the ecological balance and the environment is being destroyed with a speed that we don't know how far we can go. So, be conscious of what you want to learn, make your choices, explore, and then figure out where your heart is. Make the best use of that learning by questioning why you are learning what you are learning and how it is going to make a difference to, doing things that you want to do in life. acquiring the right kind of skills, or you already have some of those skills, harnessing them, developing your self, your DNA as a leader, your DNA as an individual, your set of values, and developing, the mindset that you live in a world which is dependent. A world where I often say the world can do without you, but you can't do without the world. And therefore develop that sense of responsibility, develop that citizenship behavior, maybe create some clubs where you can promote some of these activities and relate, to larger cause beyond your classroom and integrate back into your learning, no matter what you do in terms of projects and exercises in some of those areas, because finally you can rub back on what you are learning and strengthen your learning. You can learn what you want to learn it in your own way. Your teachers will facilitate, your teachers will help you explore and then decide that this is where I want to go deeper. Develop a slightly broader perspective with some critical thinking. Develop the capacity to think critically and look at disciplines not as silos, but something which is amorphous and, interdisciplinary. Okay? Then a few other things. While you are here and pursue your program, I want to again integrate this, because we are looking at learning for life. Be aware and do what it takes. That we all have to imbibe, adopt, integrate, no matter what other words you want to use, technology. Because technology is going to change how you learn. Technology is already changing our life, right? How we relate, how we make friends, how we express ourselves through Instagram or social media, whatever it is. So technology in many ways is disruptive, yet you can be aware that technology can be used to better your life and also enhance your learning experience while you are here. So please do use electronic resources, e-resources we call them, and also technology the way it is. When you learn marketing, you will figure out, if some of you are in the BBA, when you learn marketing, the face of marketing is completely changed after technology has overtaken. The way you buy today, the way you return the products that you buy, the way you make decisions. Instead of paying 5,000 for a branded product which looks beautiful and you like it, why don't buy 5 different styles, similar products for 1,000 rupees, because a shoe or a garment is not to be used for more than a few times. Alright? So you can look at the way marketing is changing. Similarly, the way you do banking today, the way you make financial decisions, even investing. Technology is changing everything. The way you do recruiting, right? The way you read books today, classics, right? So technology is something that we need to understand, that it is changing our lives. It's going to further change, and today people are saying that focus is not on enhancing the memory of a smartphone or speed of a smartphone. It's more about what else can this smartphone do. Can smartphone read my mind or look at my breathing and use that as stimuli and do certain simple things that I want. I'm sure you know the way the reality, the virtual reality, the augmented reality, right? The way artificial intelligence that we talk about, already robots, human beings, we think there are 100 different responses that, a normal day-to-day responses that have been studied when it comes to humans. And the robots have been able to aid 12 of them already. There are places you go, you can check in, you can do a lot of things. 12 have already been captured by robots, artificial intelligence. The world is going to change. So the shape of jobs is going to change. Jobs are not going to disappear, but the kind of jobs that you will have will change. And therefore, when you learn here and you are conscious of the technology, then one thing you have to remember, that you have to learn, relearn, unlearn, and learn again. No learning is going to stay constant. These 3 years here are going to best prepare you to be able to explore on your own, to be able to learn on your own, to go into areas a little deeper, because the way technology is changing, the way the world is changing, I think all of this will force you to continuously keep staying imaginative. Because the only way you can beat computers in the years to come is through your imagination and creative thinking. Because it will be still a long time before they can program the computers to all the human, let's say, the thought process. Okay? So technology, be aware, make the best use of the technology for your learning, and also acquire some of these additional, knowledge that you will need. Because technology is disruptive, and the disruption is going to continue, including in your learning. Okay, so what is relevant today may not stay relevant, but what the kind of approach that I was talking about you will learn. What will stay relevant is that you have the capacity to seamlessly, with nimble-footed kind of an approach, what you call navigate across areas and issues and still make a sense of it. Second point is, I've already talked about being more accountable, because in the world today, the accountability levels have gone up like mad. People, some of you may have some background sense. There are different, we in our families are taught, you work hard, you get 99, 98%, 100%, you get into IIT, get into a job, right? No scope for failure anywhere. You need to, if you want to succeed, this is the way. Physics, chemistry, maths, come from school, take your lunch, get ready, go for coaching, come back in the evening, study, take your dinner, sleep. There's no time, nothing for anything. So no scope for failure, and you are judged by the marks you receive, you're judged by the first job you get, and there's a pressure on all of us. So we are not allowed to fail. But you have countries like US where you have the Steve Jobs and all of these people who were college dropouts, is that right? They didn't have any what do you call fear of failure. It's okay, we'll try something. If it works, it's fine. Doesn't work, so what? And there's a tolerance for that in those countries. And you know what they have created. You have the Facebooks, you have the Amazon. Work hard, work closely with each other, because developing this skill, because any education, if you look at it, it's about the individual, it's about the individual interacting with others, the group, it's about the community, the society, it's about the nation, and then you're looking at the globe. And everything that you learn can be connected across. Okay? If you look at the social sciences, I think every field in social sciences deals with all these 5 components. Right? So learning is about all of that. So please learn hard, work hard, but at the same time learn to relax. Because unless you can find yourself, some time for yourself, close your eyes at the end of the day, relax. I think you will develop a habit where you will be in control of things.